And the 2021 SEC Women's Basketball Tournament. Florida is here. Auburn is here to tip things off. It took hard work, vigilance, dedication, and sacrifice to make it to the end of the regular season in the COVID-19 era. Now a reward is here. It is Champ Week.
Stars are made for shining. I'm going to find that light.
Arkansas does it again. They're cutting down nets tonight.
Let's get this thing started.
We are in for a show.
Stand up, shout from the rooftop, 'cause I got this feeling.
In a season unlike any other, it's win or go home time. The Florida Gators and Auburn Tigers open play in the SEC Women's Basketball Tournament. The winner of this game will face Kentucky tomorrow in game 1 of 4 second-round games coming up tomorrow as we take you to the bracket. 4 games tomorrow, 4 more coming up in the quarterfinal round on Friday. Of course, South Carolina, the defending champions, the championship game coming up on Sunday. And it is great to be with you here in Greenville alongside the Hall of Famer Tamika Catchings. I am Eric Freed, and Tamika knows what it's like to raise a championship trophy here at the SEC tournament, and you've got the butterflies today for what they're about to go through out there on the floor.
I do, Eric. Walking into the gym today, I felt like I was about to play, but this is our game right here. One thing that I remember, just everybody comes in, 0-0, put your heart on the line. We've had a great time talking to coaches, talking to players. They are ready to play, and I know for us, we are ready to see some action.
Game number 1 features Unique Thompson. She has rewritten the record books when it comes to rebounding at Auburn. But one thing she and her Auburn teammates unable to do this year is beat an SEC team. This is their last chance here today.
Well, I know from a team standpoint, they want to send Unique Thompson out with the win, and she has done just about everything she could possibly do leading this Auburn Tiger team this year. From the points, from the rebound, from the double-double. She is dubbed the double-double queen for a reason. And the thing that I love the most about the way Unique plays, she just plays with heart. She plays with passion. You can see the smile on her face as she gets, and she goes to work every single day.
Well, Florida was just outside of the projected NCAA tournament field when their best player, Lavender Briggs, was lost for the rest of the season with a foot injury. That was 4 games ago. Florida is 0-4 since, but they have a senior trying to will them to a win. With more, we welcome in the 3rd member of our Greenville team, Steffi Sorensen. Steffi.
Yeah, Eric, there's no question that Briggs injury hurt the team, the staff, but especially the senior Kiki Smith. And keep in mind, Lavender Briggs personally took her aside and told her before she broke the team news. And she said that watching her teammate break down in front of everyone was hard and it hurt. But this is what you'd expect. Look at the fight from Kiki Smith. She has overcome injuries, 2 ACLs, before she could even suit up for the Gators. One thing I know that we'll see from her tonight is some fight.
Under the watchful eye of her teammate who can't play here today, the sophomore Lavender Briggs, 2nd team all-conference in the SEC. We are underway in Greenville, the 2021 SEC Women's Basketball Tournament. Auburn, the number 13 seed in their road blue, and right away they're launching a 3 and knocking down a 3. That's Elena Rice wasting no time to get the Tigers going.
Well, this is going to be a lot of fun. You can see Auburn, they are normally a defense-first team, but Coach Flo said when our offense gets flowing, our defense flows. So that's a great look for them right off the bat.
Smith off to Christina Moore. They try to work it inside to Faith Duke, and it's taken away by Honesty Scott Grayson, who has been outstanding in SEC play. Unique Thompson doing unique things in the opening minute, getting an offensive rebound and the putback, and it's 5-0. Auburn over Florida, who comes in 10-12 on the season, 3-11 in the conference. The number 12 seed, Jordan Merritt, SEC all-freshman team selection, coming off a career-high 16 points in Florida's last game. That was a shootout with Georgia. Good defense at the top of that defense for Auburn. Throwing it up but not able to get it to go is Aisha Coulibaly, a freshman.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see Florida trying to get themselves on the board, and who does it but Kiki Smith.
Smith averaging better than 18 points a game, 6th in the conference. She's top 10 in the SEC in scoring and in assists.
Yeah, Kiki Smith has done such a good job just coming out. Every single day she's been ready to play, especially with Briggs out, like Steffi talked about in the open. She has been ready to play, and she wants to see this team advance.
Thompson on the turnaround, and the rebound for Moore. Smith loves to push the tempo. She loves to attack the basket, and Auburn's going to have to keep her from getting into the paint. Ricards from outside for three.
Nina Ricard, definitely a player that they have to watch out for in this Auburn Tiger team. They came out strong on the defensive end, but one thing we know about both of these teams is that they're going to play hard for 40 minutes.
And a foul called on Jordan Merritt as Thompson was, Koulibaly was trying to post up on the inside. Koulibaly, one of these young players for this young team for Terry Williams-Flournoy. Coach Flo in her 9th season at Auburn, her 17th overall, looking for an SEC victory, but it was quite the roster turnover coming into the season, and that is such a challenging thing when you think about, well, just about 1 year ago we were in this building. We didn't know what would happen in the year that would follow, but trying to build up chemistry and trying to get to know such a new team is such a challenge. Koulibaly hits for Auburn.
Well, they've had 10 newcomers, Eric, and one of the things they also talked about is there's only 3 players that were here last year in the SEC tournament. So they have a lot of different players that have come, but you know what? Those 3 players, as long as you have Unique Thompson on the team, I think they're in good hands.
Thompson there defensively. Scott Grayson in transition and gets wedged up top. So a jump ball, a possession will give it to Florida for Cam Newbauer in his 4th year at Florida. And this team was playing well. And then his best player, Lavender Briggs, goes down with an injury. Deemed out for the season on February the 15th with a foot injury. Still very much part of the team. You'll see her be active on the sidelines, almost like a coach. Ricards got in deep. Duke couldn't get the follow. And a good hustle play by Merritt, and another chance here for Florida.
Well, the one thing about Florida is that they play hard for 40 minutes, like I said earlier. But I think the biggest thing is with Kiki Smith out on the floor, able to just navigate the lane, and other players are having to step up. And you're seeing these freshmen step up.
Well, for all the talk of Thompson's rebounding numbers, she is also outstanding defensively, tied for 3rd in the conference in steals, as she got one on the other end. And now Honesty Scott Grayson with a hustle play and the layup. Scott Grayson is still down after getting the assist to Rice. Honesty still down. Her head coach, the first one out. And yeah, there's some blood too, you can see. So, athletic trainer for Auburn is Catherine Gordon.
Gotta love the hustle play right there by Honesty Scott Grayson.
It's like she wanted to call a timeout. Oh, and then she got hit by Moore right here as Moore tried to get the basketball. Oh, that's a hard hit right across the nose. It was hard to tell in real time if it was Scott Grayson hitting the court with her face, but it's clear it was Moore coming through with the elbow with a shot to the head.
Yeah, and you gotta hope that it's nothing, not a broken nose or anything, but coming out. I think when you get to the SEC tournament, there's going to be a little bit of blood, Eric, but clean it up and hopefully she'll be back on the court.
Now they're going to take her towards the locker room area for closer examination. And of course, when you see it, contact like that as well, you wonder if there'll be concussion protocol and examination for that, because looked like Honesty was trying to gather her bearings there for a moment, that first moment on the floor. So some adversity here for Auburn in the early going, as the player who's led them in scoring in conference play and the only player to start every game this year heads out with 6:20 to go in the first quarter.
Well, I would say that Auburn knows just a thing or two about adversity and how to play through it.
If that's passing through Coach Flo's mind right now, she'd probably say to you, Tamika, I'm good. I've had enough.
Well, I think they've had to learn how to pivot this year, and Merritt able to get that bucket in down low.
Well, both teams and all teams in the country, as we know, have been impacted by COVID-19, whether it's impacted their program, impacted the schedule. For Auburn, they had a couple of pauses where contact tracing really put them behind, and they almost felt like, in Coach Flo's words, really had to restart the season a couple of times, and that's why they never really found any rhythm. Keegan Smith gets called for the travel. That's the 5th turnover already for Florida, and that's what Auburn wants you to do. They want to turn you over. That's what they do so well.
Well, Auburn wants you to play fast. They want you to get out of your rhythm, and you'll do that just when they run out at you and they force you to put the ball on the floor, maybe out of your rhythm. So the travels, the passing, you have to be confident in the passes that you make because of the way that Auburn plays. But then when you get on the other side, when you cross half court, you got to run your offense effective and not let Auburn defense affect you.
Auburn patient in their half-court offense. Thompson on the turnaround. That's about the extent of her range. In fact, she finally attempted a three-pointer this year, and she made it.
And she's 1 for 1 right now, 100% on the stat sheet.
Happened to be against Texas A&M, the team that won the regular season championship in the SEC. Ricards, well, according to Cam Newbauer, the key for her is being aggressive, but for the entire game. She had flashes in that last game against Georgia. Tamika had 14 points, 7 of 14 field goal. If she can keep that energy up and that aggressiveness up, that'll be a big plus for Florida.
Well, they need her to do that too, and they need her to be consistent. But the thing is, when she gets the ball, you see she has it right now. Attack the basket, get into your range, and get into your rhythm.
Thompson rips away the rebound. And Rice will jog it across half court. Approaching 4 minutes to go, first quarter, game 1 of the 2021 SEC Women's Basketball Tournament. Romy Levy is the one into the game. Also, Sanaya Wells has checked in for Auburn. Well, Rice hasn't been shy about attempting the threes, but this won't go. Rebound for Floor Tonders.
And here, Kiki Smith coming down the floor. Got one basket thus far, and I'm waiting for her to be aggressive, especially.
Danielle Rainey into the game off the bench. The senior knocks down a three, and that will force Auburn to take a timeout. Well, Auburn, after jumping out to a 5-point lead, has watched Florida come back to take the lead thanks to some good shooting from players like Nina Ricards. The SEC tournament is underway. Just some of the stories we're following at the start of the tournament we'll go into detail about coming up next. Plenty of storylines. You heard Alyssa and Andy and Drea talking about what they're watching for. Vanderbilt, the only team not here. Of course, they announced January 18th that they were opting out for the rest of the season. Texas A&M winning their first regular season championship. There is talent galore here in Greenville. Some potential first-round WNBA draft picks. And South Carolina, the defending champions, they have been on quite a run. Only Mississippi State, the only team able to jump in there and break this South Carolina run. But as we take a look at how this bracket starts to unfold, I mean, you look at these matchups, LSU and Mississippi State, there's so much on the line in that game, not just for SEC tournament hopes, but for NCAA tournament hopes. Kentucky has the two-time player of the year in Ryan Howard. Arkansas is coming off a game where they made 19 three-pointers. Ole Miss just knocked off Kentucky for the second time this season. Then there's Bama and Mizzou, which should be an evenly matched game. That doesn't even get into the top 4 seeds who get the double bye here in this tournament. Looks like it's going to be a great week here in Greenville.
Well, that's what I said, Eric. When you get to this tournament, it's 0-0 on every single night you come out. You have an opportunity to win. It's win or go home. So hearts on the line, hearts on the line. Every single possession matters offensively and defensively.
Annie Hughes into the game for Auburn. They've fallen behind here in the first quarter. Sanaya Wells off the mark and a rebound for Bryn Farrell. So certainly an opportunity here for Florida, Tamika, and they're making the most of it with Honesty Scott Grayson out of the game thanks to an injury.
I think Florida, they have to keep attacking. They have to take the ball to the basket, and Auburn takes the same note. Unique Thompson, I was about to say, one of the things that Auburn needs to do is get the ball to Unique Thompson. And, you know, honestly, she makes her own offense off of the offensive rebounds.
Yeah, you can define, as Florida turns it over, getting the ball to Unique Thompson in two ways. One, you can get her a touch as part of the offense, or if you don't do that, she's going to go make sure she gets a touch on the glass.
That's how she plays. She's just so aggressive around the basket.
Faith Duke comes back into the game for Florida, so she'll work on the inside against Thompson. Also keeping an eye on that Auburn bench to see if we see Honesty Scott Grayson return. Kyra Lowry into the game for Auburn. Here's Hughes. Thompson.
That's a great find by Unique Thompson, getting the ball out. One thing Coach Flores said is she said that they were going to throw the ball down low to Unique Thompson, and they were going to have 4 players that literally would drop and guard Unique Thompson. So today will be one of those battles. She'll have to get the ball out. It won't necessarily be her making the plays.
Really, maybe her most important skill today, outside of the rebounding and steals, which we already talked about, is her ability to pass out of all that attention she's going to get in the post. Last touch by Hughes, and it'll be Florida basketball.
And a great drive right there. You see it. Rice taking it down low, but one thing is not settling for the 3, driving the ball down low and attacking the basket.
Rice coming off an 11-point game against Tennessee last time out. Tough shot on the run by the freshman Merritt. Didn't give up on it, and Hughes comes away for Auburn. Final 2 minutes, first quarter in Greenville, game number 1.
You know, it's interesting. You look at both of these teams, and they both have so many new players that are having to come and having to perform. Just talked about Jordan Merritt on the Florida end.
Oh, great fight on the inside by Coulibaly. So 5 quick points for the freshman, who did not score against Tennessee last time out. Duke. Smith. Auburn sagged off just for a split second defensively, and that's all Kiki Smith needs.
Yeah, Kiki Smith is just so good, especially when she comes around off that screen, being able to have her court vision, being able to see the floor, players step down, and I always say man down, or hand down, man down, and she's really good at that.
Thompson thought that perhaps it was touched by Merritt. It will be a turnover for Auburn. That's their first. I mean, Florida has turned the ball over 7 times here in the first quarter. But they're only down by 2.
Yeah, Florida really adjusting to the press that Auburn's putting in.
Faith Duke, right place, the right time. First points for the sophomore from Vancouver. Auburn will reset. Rice has had the hot hand here in the first quarter for the Tigers. Lowry had it batted away. Here comes Florida. Plenty of time, but they're not going to slow down as Kiki Smith can't get it to go. Rice hears from the bench that she has to push it, so she gets a chance from half court. Well, Elena was very active in that first quarter, trying to pick up the slack for the injured Honesty Scott Grayson. As expected, a close one here in the early going in Greenville. Auburn was starting to cruise a little bit in that first quarter. They led 10-5 when Honesty Scott Grayson had the steal and the dish, but she got hurt at that moment. She left the game. Florida came back to take 12-10 lead. You can see we're even at 16 right now. Unique Thompson with 4 points and 3 rebounds. Played the full 10 minutes in that first quarter.
Well, she's going to have to probably play more than just the full 10 minutes. But Unique Thompson, when she's on the floor, she just demands so much attention. You have to go and help. And it allows other players to step up, and they're going to have to make big plays. But you see her on the board. You see her one of the things that teams are always conscious of is how do you box her out and get her away from the basket. Already right there with 3 rebounds, and off of 2 of them, she's been able to get some to her basket.
Tamika, one thing when talking to Coach Flo about Unique Thompson and the legacy that she's really had at Auburn in her career, she said that you can have a career and be successful as a true post player. As an old school, go to work, offensive rebound, post moves, you don't have to always shoot the 3. She said, I know that's what all the post players want to do now, but you can be successful and have a legacy being an old school post player is what Coach Flo talked about.
Well, it's not even old school. Danny Hughes knocked down a 3. It's not even old school, Steffi. It's more, she just goes to work, right? She does it the right way. She comes out, she works hard. Coach Flo said she's in the gym early. She's staying after late. And the players, the young players that have been able to watch her, the legacy that she will leave, the young players will definitely learn a lot from her.
Foul on Levy on the inside. Steffi, I'm with you. She strikes me as old school, but Tamika's our expert on old school. I mean, I'm never going to deny that. So there is Honesty Scott Grayson. So it wasn't the nose, obviously. It was above the left eye. She's got a smile about it. What I want to know is she may be looking around for one of our favorite things that Auburn does, the POE chain. We got a good chuckle with Coach Flo this morning talking about the Person of Excellence award that they give in-game for someone who takes a charge or dives on the floor for a loose ball. I think that qualified for honesty.
Definitely qualified.
To see her back and getting ready to get back into the game is encouraging. Coulibaly can't get it. That's huge. Good fight by her. And it was last touch by Florida.
And I think Annie Hughes, that's what she does so well. When she comes on the floor, I know it's not reflected on her numbers, but she plays so hard. She comes out, she'll make hustle plays, she'll do, it's little things that she does that makes the difference in the game.
Levy will try it from the outside, ripped away by Ricards. Auburn scrambling back in transition defense. Smith.
And that's a great play by Kiki Smith. She just needs a little bit of room to get open, not able to knock down that jump shot, but she's a player that this team relies on. With Lavender Briggs on the bench, Kiki Smith has been the one that stepped up, and so she's got to take those shots.
Well, I don't know who the Auburn cut person is, but well done, because honestly, Scott Grayson left the court with 6:20 to go in the first quarter. She's patched up, looks like packing tape over her eye, whatever works right now, you know?
Packing tape. Well, not only honestly Scott Grayson back in the game, but Unique Thompson, so definitely a duo that you've had to watch out for.
Well, to your point, it's going to be quick little bits of rest for Unique Thompson and honestly Scott Grayson. Rice, beg your pardon, Rice on the drive. What a good quarter half for Rice. 9 points already. Comes in averaging 5 points a game.
I think with Auburn, one thing you have to find with either team, you got to find the players and you got to find the positions that are making a difference. And Rice had come in immediately and done that.
Faith Dukes. She's got 4 and Florida's within 1.
Could tell that Florida is playing with confidence right now. When honestly Scott Grayson went out of the game, definitely everybody else picked it up, and you see Florida playing with a different type of swag about them.
So turnover for Auburn, the Florida ball, as Smith will bring it across half court. Guarded by Rice. Well, Rice has been very good the last 4 games, averaging just under 9 points a game and 4 assists. So Auburn finding that third scoring option. Rainey's off the mark. And last touch by Florida. Auburn's been without Jayla Jordan, missing her 9th straight game with a knee injury. She was their 3rd leading scorer at 7 points a game. Scoring's been issue for Auburn, 13th in the conference for Coach Flo at 65 points a game.
Well, she came in talking about we need another person to step up. Unique Thompson in the beginning of the year was the only player that they could rely on. After she had the conversation and walks in, honestly, Scott Grayson, she's made a difference for this team. But even when you talk to Coach Flo, she said every great team has at least 3 scorers that you can rely on consistently. We're still trying to find that third, so that is something that they've looked out to. Romy Levy is a player Levy that has stepped up at times. Rice now is stepping up, so they're continuing to look for different players.
Well, it was a slow start for Honesty Scott Grayson in the non-conference schedule. In fact, in the first 10 games this season, she was averaging under 10 points a game, but you can see what she's done in conference play. Shooting numbers are up, 3-point shooting numbers are up, but bringing a little bit of that offensive swagger to Auburn by attacking the basket and showing her toughness here after taking the shot above the eye.
Yeah, I agree with you, though. Whoever did the tape job on her eye did a great job in getting her back out into the game.
Barrett, no, and a rebound for Rice.
Yeah, thinking just a second ago, when you think about Kiki Smith, one thing that we did hear Coach Flo is she said we have to sit on Kiki Smith's left hand, and when you look at her drives, majority of her drives are going to the left, so being able to get the 1-2 pull-ups is kind of her money shot.
Honesty Scott Grayson defended by Moore. Now the defense has been an issue for Florida since Lavender Briggs left the lineup, especially since that point. There's a drive by Moore, and she was fouled. And they've scored the points the last 4 games the Gators have, averaging 77 points a game, but they've given up on average 89 points a game in the last 4 games. And Cam Neubauer said, for all of Lavender Briggs' skill offensively, and she can score in so many different ways, it's a pity we're not seeing her play in this tournament. She's glue defensively. She can guard any player on the court with her length and her size, and that is where they really miss her. It's on the defensive end right now.
Well, she's glue everywhere. She's glue on the offensive end. She's glue on the defensive end. And, you know, when you have a player that can literally rotate to guard the 1 all the way down to the 5 if she had to, you have a player like that, you can move it around. If somebody gets beat, she's always there to pick it up. I mean, there's so many great things that Lavender Briggs brings to the floor.
Alicia Reese into the game. She's got it for Auburn. Open look for Honesty Scott Grayson, no. And went over the top, so it'll be Florida basketball. Well, Florida's without Lavender Briggs, second team all-conference selection. And Cam Neubauer is down 2 assistant coaches as well because of COVID contact tracing protocols. Kelly Ray Finley, who actually stepped in as head coach for 3 games this season when Neubauer had COVID protocol issues, and Julian Esabe also out today. So the staff is limited today for Florida as Kiki Smith tries it from the outside, and she'll rattle it in for 2.
Yeah, Eric, and keep in mind that Kelly Ray Finley was the coach, the assistant coach who stepped in when Cam Neubauer was out with COVID protocol, and she's more of the defensive specialist assistant coach. So something to watch for in this game, as Cam Neubauer is more of the offensive-minded person.
All right, Steffi, thank you. This is kind of a slow tempo game so far as Moore gets the rebound off the miss.
Well, I think it's really important to just note, too, like when you talk about COVID and you just talk about the protocols, there's a lot of different things that have happened this year. So it's every team that's been affected, but today it's all that matters. And what we need right now is we watch Florida versus Auburn. We'll come back and definitely see where this game will go. But you see all the fun, all the excitement, put it out on the line. Here we go.
Coming up in just just a few minutes on the SEC halftime report. We'll talk how COVID affected the SEC tournament this year. We'll give you a preview on some of tomorrow's games and, of course, talk first half. What have you guys seen?
Both teams only have 2 fast break points. I want to see who can get out and run in transition.
I'm impressed with Auburn's offense, their patience against a very good defensive basketball team.
We will see you guys in just a few.
Alyssa, thank you. We will talk to you then and listen for you then as Auburn and Florida, 3-point game here in our first round matchup at the SEC tournament in Greenville. So when everybody gets together for the tournament, that means you find out, who's player of the year? Who's coach of the year? Well, Ryan Howard is the 2-time SEC player of the year. Q Morrison and Aaliyah Boston, co-defensive players of the year in the SEC. Madison Scott, part of that Ole Miss turnaround. And we've mentioned before that win over Kentucky closing out the regular season. She was freshman of the year. Destiny Pitts, sharpshooter for Texas A&M. And Joni Taylor, the coach of the year representing the University of Georgia.
I love when we get a chance to look at the awards and how the coaches, the coaches are the ones that nominate for the players for the award. So it's always fun to see what happens. And, Ryan Howard, we had this conversation, Eric, you and I had this conversation last week about, hey, who is going to end up being the player of the year with so many great players and the highs and lows from this year? Who's going to step up big? And, of course, Ryan Howard.
Moore at the free throw line. Junior from Sydney, Australia. Outstanding free throw shooter, best on the team. And perfect from the line so far today. All 6 of her points at the free throw line. Auburn has yet to attempt a free throw. Moore's got all the free throw attempts in this game. Florida on top by 5. They were down by 5 in the early going in the first quarter. Scott Grayson aggressive on the baseline.
So I love when you talk about Moore, just thinking about getting to the basket, being more aggressive. And we heard Drea say it just a second ago. We want to see these teams get up and down and get in transition, but what we really want to see is just the drive, attacking the basket, getting to the free throw line and getting those easy buckets.
Smith, Ricards, gets it back, and that's off the mark. Scott Grayson just got her first points of the game after missing her first 5 field goal attempts. It ended a 6-0 run for Florida. Now they get a touch for Thompson, who finds a cutting Levy.
Great drop right there. Levy attacking the basket. But Unique Thompson, it all started with her, the pass off when the double team came.
And Auburn gets the steal. 8th turnover for Florida. Levy will try. Long rebound and a second chance here for the Tigers.
I love the patience that Auburn playing with on the offensive end, on this offensive possession in particular. All 5 players touch the ball.
See if they can get Thompson a touch here. Instead, it'll be Scott Grayson from outside. And Smith's got the rebound. You know what she wants to do off the miss. She wants to push.
Great push, great shot. Anytime she comes off the screen, and she's always looking to score. That's what her team needs, right? But she's always looking to score, her court vision, get into the basket. But from that point, just being able to step up and knock down that shot.
Kiki averaging 25 points a game over the last 4 games. Scott Grayson answers back for Auburn. Things picking up a little bit offensively here late in the first half. Auburn swarms defensively. Can't turn Smith over, though. That leads to a wide open look for Ricards. Rebound for Auburn.
Yeah, I think both teams right now trying to find the rhythm, trying to find the shot. They're getting the good looks, but just not able to knock them down.
Thompson all the way through to Reese for 3. Alicia tied her career high with 10 in 26 minutes against Tennessee last time out, so she's feeling a lot of confidence. Answered right back by the freshman Merritt.
Here we go. We're going to have a shooting competition now. They must have heard what I said a second ago. Now everybody's knocking shots down.
Scott Grayson for Levy. Reese will try again. Rebound to Merritt, and here's Smith. Moore looks for Tonders on the post. There's a young player who's coming off her best game in the States, a career-high 16 points on 7 of 8 shooting against Georgia. Floor Tonders, the freshman from the Netherlands, gets her first points.
Well, she did a really good job in the post-up. She saw Unique Thompson fronting her, so she moved her up the post. Was able to get the nice pass over the top.
Reese, little fake to get free, and a blocking foul called on Tonders. We talked earlier, Tamika, about the attention that Florida's going to give Unique Thompson.
Well, look, every single time she touches the ball, there's players that are coming at her, and she's doing a really good job of finding the players that she has to pass out to. So anytime somebody dives, you're looking at that diver, but you're also looking cross court. And Reese knocked down that three-point shot the last possession. Now, one thing though you have to see is Unique Thompson. They've got to figure out a way to get her some more touches in an area where she can score. So if it's the inside out, pass in, she passes back out and then repost and get that look. But they've got to figure out a way to move her around and get her some more touches down low.
Maybe get her to the free throw line. Those are the first free throw attempts of the game for Auburn, as Reese made them both. And now Auburn will bring some pressure into the backcourt. Final minute of the second quarter.
Great job by Florida slowing down, getting through Auburn press.
Moore. Rainey to Merritt. Knocked away and then ripped away by Scott Grayson. 2 to shoot. Florida ball.
Well, Florida trying to find their offensive rhythm. They're trying to get that open look. They're passing, but Auburn doing a really good job of just creating havoc down low.
Duke has to get rid of it quickly, and Scott Grayson has it. They get the touch for Thompson in transition. A little too strong on the turnaround, and Florida will hold for one.
Going back to Steffi's old school. That's an old school play right there.
Off the rim, Duke had a hand on it, and that will do it for the first half. We were tied at 16 at the end of one. It's a 1-point lead for Kiki Smith. And the Gators at halftime, 8 for Kiki. Alyssa, Andy, Andrea got you at halftime. Game number 1 of the 2021 SEC Women's Basketball Tournament. First round matchup, it's a close one. The number 12 seed Florida with a 1-point lead at the half over Auburn. Eric Freed, Tamika Catchings back with you here in Greenville. We expected a close game. It wasn't a well-played game the first time these two teams meet. That game back in the regular season, Auburn flew in the day of the game because of COVID protocols, and in the words of Coach Flo, it was a hot mess. So they're close in this game against Florida. What has stood out to you so far in the first half, Tamika?
Well, I would have to agree with you just about the flow of the game, but there are two players that stand out to me when you look at, from Auburn's standpoint, of course, Elena Rice sitting with 9 points right now, but the way that she moved without the ball, she did a lot of great things, getting to the basket, cutting. Unique Thompson gets double teamed. She was the player that was on the receiving end of a lot of her passes. And of course, when you look at the Florida side, just can't say enough about how well Kiki Smith has been playing, especially in the SEC Conference, especially the last 4 games, but tonight in particular. 8 points, 4 for 9 from the field goal, finding her shot, getting those open looks. It's just been really important for the Florida Gator team. They're going to continue to look for her.
And an assist and a steal for the senior, who would love to keep playing beyond today for the Gators. Auburn basketball to start the third quarter. Elena Rice leading all scorers with those 9 points in the first half. Thompson rolls to the basket, tried to make the extra pass, but it was batted away by Florida. Merritt all the way will finish for the Gators.
Well, I like the initial attack as far as for Auburn, trying to get the ball down low, but of course, Unique Thompson, not of course, but she makes the turnover. And then, of course, from the Florida standpoint, they're going to try to attack. I would say at halftime, they'll talk from Coach Cam, attack the basket, get transition point, and try to get to the free throw line.
Scott Grayson struggling to find the range here. She's now 2 of 9 from the field.
And this is the important part for Auburn, for both teams. Third quarter coming out. Because the first half was played the way it was, I think it's going to be really important to establish a flow offensively. And Florida is looking really in sync right now.
Great play by Christina Moore to feed Faith Duke for 2. Thompson again in trouble, and reaching in to force the tie-up is Jordan Merritt, so it will be Florida basketball.
Well, let's take a look back at this play. Great job from the Florida standpoint, moving the ball, finding the open passer, and getting that wide open look down low. Just spaced out Auburn. They did not do a good job of just matching up on the defensive zone, and very uncharacteristic of the Auburn team.
And the pass intended for Ricards, lost out of bounds. That'll be the 9th turnover for the Gators. Again, Auburn turns their opponents on average over 18 times a game, and they're 4th in the conference in turnover margin. They're going to have to rely on that defense to help their offense here, down by 5 in the third quarter. Thompson, well, we've seen that turnaround a few times today. They're unable to get Unique Thompson going closer to the basket where she does her best work on offense.
Well, that's the place that she can score. Wow, Kiki Smith with the one-hand, left-hand floater to the basket.
Largest lead for the Gators, on top now by 7, scoring the first 6 points of the third quarter.
Yeah, how impressive was that floater there, Tamika, by Kiki Smith? And that's an area of her game that she's gotten so much better her senior year, and it's because she's really watched the film and how to take the proper angles, not as a defender, but as an offensive player, to really get the best angle to score in a more efficient way, and she's proven that her senior year.
Yeah, definitely, Steffi, you see right here, this floater, but she's become a lot more aggressive, I feel like, coming into her senior year. One of the things her and Coach Cam talked about, I want to be a professional player. What do I need to do to elevate my game? And watching video, getting in the gym, getting extra shot, working on the plays and working on different things that she can do to elevate her game.
Foul called on Moore on the block. Well, you know, Kiki Smith put on some really good numbers, and she obviously, with the absence of Lavender Briggs, a lot of pressure put on her shoulders. She was not a first or second team selection in the SEC. I think it bothered Cam Newbauer. It certainly bothered Lavender Briggs, who took it harder than Kiki, because we talked to Kiki and she's just all about winning. She didn't care about the individual accolade. She wants to improve and be a pro, like you said, but she only cares about winning games for Florida, and that's something that Newbauer pointed to as well, that she is just such a winner and such a selfless player.
Well, he said she's more of the chill player, whereas Lavender Briggs is the one that has the energy, and she makes her presence known. So it's only right. And of course, you know, Steffi talked about this earlier in the game, that the two of them are really close. So being able to see someone that you know had worked as hard as she has, not get the recognition, that was the thing that she got upset about.
Again, Florida swarming Unique Thompson, tried to take it at 3 Florida defenders. Gators have shut out Auburn so far here in this quarter, and this foul will be called against Florida as Smith got tangled up trying to set the screen.
That's really important for the offensive player. When you are the one that's receiving the screen, you have got to wait and let your screener get there. And Kiki Smith did call for that foul just because the play was already in motion before she got there.
Florida has struggled defensively down the stretch in the SEC, giving up on average 89 points a game the last 4 games, but they have kept Auburn scoreless so far here in the third quarter. Gators over from the field, and Smith an easy path to the basket for 2 more.
Kiki Smith showing just how good she is. Another one-handed look, one-handed drive to the basket.
And a reach in and a foul called on Jordan Merritt.
And when I say she makes it look so easy, she makes it look so easy. One-handed with the right hand. Did the left hand the last time, right hand this time. Showing it to get it done on both sides.
Well, Kiki came into this game having played all but 12 minutes in the final 7 games of the regular season. Can't get her off the floor. She wants to be out there. Thompson, one of the few times she wasn't trying to take it on 2 or 3 defenders, but unable to score. Her struggles continue against Florida. Smith knocks down to 3.
Unbelievable. Kiki Smith comes down. Single-handedly has just allowed Florida to take this lead up 44-32 right now, up by 12 points, and it's been all Kiki Smith.
Smith lost it off her foot, so Auburn takes it back. Rice, that won't drop. Rebound for Ricards. And a foul called. 11-0 Florida to start the third quarter.
Well, and it's been all Kiki Smith. I mean, if she's not the one scoring, she's definitely the one that's helping her teammates score. Right there, the 3-pointer, the 2 drive to the basket, the floaters. She is doing it all in this third quarter.
She's scored 7 of the 11 for Florida so far here in this quarter. Double-digit lead for the Gators. Chance to extend it here with possession midway through the third. Ricards. Nope. Tonders is there for the rebound, though, and a second chance here for Smith. How about a third chance for Florida? Rocket pass inside to Rainey, who is fouled. She'll go to the free throw line when we come back. Well, Cam Neubauer is a women's head coach. How being a girl dad helps him do his job. That's next.
We're back in Bonsecourt, and let's talk about Florida and what they are doing well. The break, the defense, the offense, everything is going well from right now, but I would say it's the ball movement and just how well this Florida team has come out. They've come out in the third quarter, and they have played together, but Kiki Smith has been the story thus far. I know that she has been a part of every single play that has happened from the positive standpoint. And here you go. Florida outscoring Auburn 11-0. Auburn has not scored yet in the third quarter.
Florida 5 of 8 from the field in the quarter. Auburn 0 for 9 from the quarter. Perfect start for this second half for Cam Neubauer's team. Cam in his 4th year at Florida, his 8th year overall, the father of 3 girls. He can bring what happens at home to work, I guess, to help him do his job. Right, Steffi?
Well, you know, a little over a year ago, we were introduced to the term girl dad. And on the Gators sidelines, they have one in Cameron Neubauer. His 3 daughters, Chloe, Sarah, and Charlie Jean, are very involved with the team, including practices where 2 of them are running around and one being pushed in a stroller, quite frankly, when his wife, Sarah, is on the road and traveling. And the players love the fact that he has shown an ability to be real, to be compassionate. And as Lav Briggs told me yesterday, he's got a house full of girls, quite frankly, so he's used to it, and he knows how to bond with us on levels deeper than just a coach.
Thank you, Steffi. Plenty to be happy about right now for the girl dad and the Gator head coach, with his team continuing this run here in quarter number 3.
Well, I love that too. When you start just looking around and a lot of the coaches with their kids and the dogs, and you know, just being able to bring that in. I think especially this year when you look at COVID and all of the different things. So bringing family, it really is about family, especially when you get to college. first for a lot of these players, the first time that they're away from their parents and trying new experiences as Auburn finally gets a basket. 4 minutes and 19 seconds on the clock. Honestly, Scott Grayson able to get that shot.
On the dish from Levy on the back cut, brings it to a 12-point game. I think you make a great point about managing COVID, because throughout this season, coaches have talked quite often about not just physically trying to keep their players healthy and happy as Ricards gets the basket and go to the free throw line, but the emotional toll, psychological toll that doing all this has taken on teams, because there isn't that chemistry, there isn't that togetherness. You're staying away from teammates to try to keep everybody healthy, and it's been a different year in the classroom and in the court for so many of these players, all these players.
Yeah, family over everything. That's what we all say, and you hear a lot of stories, especially as we've talked to coaches and players. Family always kind of weaves their way in.
Scott Grayson still trying to heat up. Now she can get going in a hurry, and Auburn's going to need that to happen here because they're down by 14 and holding right there after the miss and the rebound for Rice.
Well, Florida, they have just come out and they really have figured out a way to play together. You can tell when they're out there how everybody is in tune. When you look at the huddle, you see Coach Neubauer talking, everybody is in tune, and that's just like, that's what you want going into a game. We talked about everybody comes in 0-0. Every single possession matters. You just got to come out. You got to play your heart out. And tell you what, they are playing for Lavender Briggs on the sideline.
Smith. We haven't seen her miss too many shots here in conference play. And she hasn't missed too many today. She's now 7 of 14 from the field. Florida now a +10 in rebounding margin here today. This is a pretty good rebounding team. They're in the middle of the pack of the SEC, but their guards get on the glass. And count it for Rainey. Then a chance for a three-point play.
Got to be aggressive, and when everybody has their head down and you're aggressive, Florida's done a great job of getting to the back. But look at Danielle Rainey getting in there, head down. Almost did like a little, a nice move, a little head fake in the air kind of a deal.
Got that contact. Shielded the basketball, got it up off the window. 7 points for Rainey. That's her season average. Last year, she had a preseason ACL injury. She was the leading returning scorer for Florida heading into last year. Cam Neubauer talked about all the hurdles that this team has had to clear with COVID, with injuries to players, with young players trying to find their way, like Jordan Merritt, who finds her way inside for 2 more.
Well, I think that every single team across the NCAA, the COVID, dealing with injuries, players in, players out. Florida's situation tonight, coaches in, coaches out, as Unique Thompson gets a wide open layup. But I feel like that's just been the story of the year.
Oh, clean pick defensively for Auburn's Honesty Scott Grayson, and she'll go in for the easiest 2 of the night for Auburn. So after the easiest 2 of the night for Thompson, Scott Grayson gets some offense off of defense, and now Kiki Smith in big trouble. Rice tried to save it. Good hustle play to go into the Florida bench that wraps around the corner of the court, and 3 Florida players there to help Elena Rice up.
Gotta love the hustle, but Kiki Smith, I know, looking at herself like, can't get across half court and pick up the ball and put your team in a bad situation.
She was close to saving that, wasn't she?
Love the slide, though. That might be my favorite part.
I think they're trying to determine what should be on the shot clock. They'll put 20 on the clock. Just into the game is Bryn Farrell, not shy about shooting. And Farrell gets called for the foul. Contact with Reese.
You said Bryn Farrell steps on the floor and gets a wide open look, but you know, in a situation like this, you got to step up and you got to be able to knock down a shot. And she's on the floor for a reason. .138 to go
here in the third quarter. Winner of this game will take on Kentucky tomorrow. Game 2 of our Dayside doubleheader. Mississippi State and LSU will get things going 11 a.m. Eastern time here in Greenville. Rice, big three for Auburn. So after Florida scored the first 13 points of the third quarter, Auburn trying to claw back here late in the third.
Well, I think when you look at both of these teams, that's something that they're characteristic of. They get down in games, but they always fight. And you know that the game is never up. Now they're down, Auburn down by 12, but you look a minute ago, they just forced another turnover. So they're finding ways to get themselves back in the game.
Well, Cam Neubauer doesn't like what he sees right now. Auburn's on a 7-0 run. Florida just threw it out of bounds. Auburn possession when we come back after this Florida timeout. Auburn doing it with defense, forcing Florida into some turnovers here, going on this 7-0 run. Unique Thompson and the Tigers, 3 for their last 3 from the field. Remember, Florida scored the first 13 points of this quarter, but now Auburn fighting back with Unique Thompson, finding an easy hoop inside, and then the steal and the score for Scott Grayson.
Well, that's what Auburn's going to have to do. If they want to get back in this game, their defense is going to have to lead to their offense, and they're starting to heat up, knocking down shots. I think the big thing, getting Unique Thompson touches down low. She's scoring. She touched early in the third quarter, not able to knock down shots, but since then has gotten herself going.
One thing is that this is still a young team. Obviously, Unique Thompson leads the way, but Coach Flo has said that with that inexperience, that sometimes their offense will dictate their defense, and it can be a little bit of an issue. It's something that they've had to work on throughout the season. But given the fact that they've hit some shots, now will their defense start to ramp up, and can they get some easy points to close out this third quarter? It's something to watch for.
Well, Steffi, good point, because Unique Thompson was quiet for too long. She scored a little over 2 minutes ago in the first quarter. She didn't score again until a little over 2 minutes ago in the third quarter.
And after Unique Thompson hit that shot, that's when the defense started revving up. So like Steffi said, Auburn going to get back in the game. They're going to get back in with their defense and those shots. And Rice hit another shot.
15 points now for Elena Rice. That's her new Auburn high. The transfer from Florida A&M had scored 13 against Texas A&M. So stepping up, and back to the conversation we had earlier, Tamika, about finding that third scoring option for Auburn. Rice is that player right now for the Tigers. She's the #1 scoring option in this game for the Tigers. Smith, tough shot. Smith is down, so numbers the other way for Scott Grayson and the Tigers. But they'll slow it down and hold for 1. Scott Grayson tries to take it at Faith Duke. Batted out of bounds, and last touched by Florida. Plenty of time for Auburn to get something off here with 2.1 to go.
I think it's the right drive, the right idea to get into the basket, but I think when the help comes, you got to figure out, find a player to pass.
Scott Grayson is fouled, and she'll go to the line to shoot 2 with half a second to go in the quarter.
And right off the break, you see Scott Grayson getting opened, Ricard getting called for that foul. This is only the 3rd free throw that Auburn has shot. They're 2 for 2, now 3 for 3.
Scott Grayson rolls it in. She's in the double figures now with 10. And how this game has quickly changed here in Greenville. Looked like Florida was ready to pull away. They got off to the great start here in the third quarter. They scored the first 13 points of the quarter, but Auburn scored the final 12 points of the third quarter. So we're going to the 4th 6-point game in Greenville. Ready for the fourth quarter, game #1 of the SEC Women's Tournament here in Greenville. Florida looked like they were in cruise control for a little while. That 13-0 start to the third quarter, but Auburn on a 12-0 run to close out that quarter. They carry that run into the fourth quarter, Tamika. The story of the score in this one, Florida was getting what they wanted, but then Auburn started to dial up the defense, and Florida had trouble taking care of the basketball too at the end of the third quarter.
Well, it goes to what Steffi talked about. Auburn had been known now. In previous years, they were known as a defensive team. Now they really rely on their offense. They got a couple baskets, and you saw their confidence level come up. You saw their intensity rise up. And then defensively, they started forcing turnovers. Florida wasn't able to take care of the ball. Auburn going off. And here we are, getting ready for the fourth quarter.
Florida's turned it over 12 times. That's resulted in 13 Auburn points off of those turnovers. And a little hop in their step as they come out to the court here in quarter number 4. Which senior will play tomorrow? Will it be Kiki Smith for Florida? Will it be Unique Thompson for Auburn? Ready to try to decide it here in the fourth. Moore skips it to Smith. Smith drives on Coulibaly for 2. That gives Kiki Smith 1,000 points, right on the number in her Florida career.
What an amazing play, though. Kiki Smith just so good getting to the basket, finding her spot, getting to the spot, and knocking down shot.
Maybe more importantly for Kiki, that basket ended a 12-0 run for Auburn as we take you back to the milestone moment for the senior from District Heights, Maryland.
I love the patience that she shows and drives on Coulibaly, but able to switch over. You see, she got a double team in the air, but Lavender Briggs on the sideline. They're trying to calm her down. Wait a minute, your foot's hurt. Sit back down.
So the foul on Doot, her second personal foul. Reese with the first miss of the game from the free throw line for Auburn. First points of the second half for the junior from Columbus, Georgia. And again, trouble for Florida.
Well, Florida is underestimating Auburn's intensity on the defensive end. They went from playing behind and allowing Florida to come up and get the ball. So now Auburn is face fronting and forcing them to throw it over and cause that turnover.
Rice. Scott Grayson feeds Thompson.
Great look, and that's something that we talked about for Unique Thompson, being able to pass off the double team. Well, she dove this time, and now see Scott Grayson able to find her down low.
5-point game. Moore, Kiki Smith, open look. Not this time. Dude, offensive rebound, but Thompson tried to rip it away. Tied it up. It'll be Auburn ball.
Great drive right there. Scott Grayson sees Unique Thompson diving down low. Duke loses her for just a second, just enough room to get wide open.
Thompson fights for it. Still fights for it. For 2, into double figures now with 10. And then another turnover for Florida as Merritt struggled with it on the sideline.
Well, this is what Auburn does. They force you to start doing something that you haven't been doing. And I think for Florida, slow it down. They're trying to go so fast. They got young players on the floor right now, so their mind, when the press comes and you're trying to go fast, you feel like you have to go faster. Sometimes you got to go slower.
But that's what Auburn wants them to do. They're playing at Auburn's pace right now with the game sped up a little bit. Thompson spins, turns, scores.
So Auburn only down 1 right now.
They were down by 18 in the third quarter. And again, trouble right at half court. Through the hands of Smith, and another turnover for Florida. Timeout called by Florida. Auburn basketball when we come back with a chance to take the lead.
And when you think about lead, you think about Unique Thompson going to work down low. Count it.
The conclusion of Auburn, Florida will take you to Missouri, Florida. On the men's side, Colin Castleton averaging over 12 points per game, 5 rebounds per game for his Florida Gators, looking to get a win over Missouri as the guys are getting set to close out their regular season. That tips off 6:30 right here on the SEC Network, guys.
All right, Alyssa, thanks very much. We've got a close one here to open up the SEC Women's Tournament. Florida on top by 1, but hanging on for dear life right now after letting an 18-point lead slip away here in the second half.
Well, this is the player that has stepped up, and we have seen her come to life in the third quarter, excuse me. Here, going to work down low. This is the player that Auburn has relied on year after year. But tonight, they wanted her to step up. They wanted her to go to work, and she's been quiet for most of the game. But as you see right there, you look at her numbers here in the fourth quarter, all of a sudden she is going to work. Something has awakened the beast down low.
Yeah, I think the biggest difference, too, just watching her on the floor, guys, is she's just seems more assertive and more aggressive. You see her cutting towards the basket or finding the ball in open space, making a play, because some of the problems that Auburn has had offensively is their perimeter players just missing her posting up. So she has to sometimes take it upon herself to create her own shot, which is unusual for a post player who relies on the guards to get to the ball.
Well, Steffi, don't forget the fact, too, that maybe Unique and her teammates realizing we better turn things around here or this is going to be it for her career. We saw some of that on senior night at Auburn Arena where they played Arkansas, top 20 team, really hard in that game. Auburn was up 10 in the third quarter. Tigers were motivated, inspired, tried to get a win for their lone senior, Unique Thompson. She went for 22 points and 18 boards on senior night, but Arkansas, very, very good team, pulled that out on the road. Coulibaly out of the timeout, puts Auburn in front.
Oh my goodness, Coulibaly with the move, with the spin move between two defenders. You know, Eric, when you were talking about just the heart of Auburn, definitely playing for Unique Thompson, and I think not just for Unique, but when you look at Florida, the seniors that are out here knowing what this means and what this tournament stands for, you come into a tournament knowing that you get another chance to play. You have another game, at least one game at a time, and players are fighting.
Off the miss by Smith. Here's Auburn trying to stretch it out. They had a 12-0 run to close out the third quarter. This is a current 9-0 run for the Tigers to go back in front. And on the cut, Scott Grayson with the finish.
And a great setup by Scott Grayson. Uses the screen to free herself up. Kiki Smith just following a little bit too far behind.
Florida was on top by 18. Since then, Auburn has outscored the Gators 23-2. Moore comes up with a huge three for Florida.
And it's funny, when you looked at Moore, you saw her get to her spot. You saw her eyes on the basket. All she needed was the ball. She got it, and right in rhythm, knocked that shot down.
Inside of 6 to play, fourth quarter, tied at 57. Coulibaly tried to get it to Thompson. Ends up outside. There's Thompson on the offensive glass, leading the nation in offensive rebounds. And a timeout is called by Auburn. Auburn was down in this game 52-34. The look to Honesty Scott Grayson from Elena Rice kept the run going, but then off this scramble, a big three from Christina Moore. What's at stake in this game? A matchup with Kentucky tomorrow afternoon here on the SEC Network. LSU and Mississippi State will get things going tomorrow morning here in Greenville. And then the night session, Arkansas, Ole Miss, Alabama, Missouri. Courtney Lyle, Carolyn Peck, and Steffi will be with you for the night sessions. What a great start in this tournament. We're expecting some great battles that will go down to the wire, and I think we're getting that here between Florida and Auburn.
Well, if you talk about what's at stake is going home. And nobody wants to go home right now. You get to tournament play, you want to keep playing and extend for your seniors, extend the opportunity for them to play, but they're just having another day, another game to play.
Scott Grayson, defended by Ricards. Lost the handle, Ricards has it, and a turnover for Auburn. Tie-up will give it to Florida.
Well, honestly, Scott Grayson, too much dribbling that possession. You got to get the ball out of your hand. Give it to your player, dive, allow somebody else to make a play sometimes.
Auburn's done a pretty good job taking care of the ball today. 7 turnovers for the Tigers, 15 for Florida, and they have been costly turnovers, leading to 19 Auburn points. More defensive pressure. Rainey needs help, gets it from Smith. Smith floats, can't finish, and a foul called on Coulibaly for Auburn.
And that's the right play for Kiki Smith. I was thinking in my head, at some point we got to figure out, Florida's got to figure out a way to get Kiki Smith another shot. And her taking it into the paint, that's the floater we saw her hit in the third quarter.
Florida answers back with a 3 from Rainey. Each team 6 of 18 from outside the three-point line. Scott Grayson finds Coulibaly. Rebound Florida. Ricards for Smith. Smith, the hot hand, Rainey in the corner. Another one.
Just like that, Rainey knocked down 2 3-pointers. And Florida's up by 6.
A game of runs, now a 9-0 run for the Gators. Coulibaly does have that range, but not this time. And the momentum now back with Florida as Ricards drives it all the way for 2 more.
And I feel like that's been the biggest difference, the game of runs, Eric, and who wants it more and at what point do you want it? But you see Florida coming back. Rainey with the threes. Look at the drives. You look at, man, Florida is just coming alive.
Daniel Rainey talked about the knee injury she's battling back from. Ricards with the other hoop in that sequence. Rainey's been outstanding from outside the three-point line here today, helping Florida to an 8-point lead. It's an 11-0 run over the last 2:20 for the Gators. But look at the clock, 3:53 to go. If what we've seen so far in this game is any indication, prepare for the Auburn run. The question is, can Florida keep this drought going for Auburn?
Well, I think as long as they keep pushing the ball, they're taking care of the ball as of late, moving the ball, finding the right spot. Rainey, of course, knocking down those threes. But, you know, for both teams, the way that they're playing, the way that they, that they want to rely on certain players. Kiki Smith is the player that we've been talking about, but other players have to step up. Unique Thompson is the player we talk about for Auburn, but other players have to step up, and you're seeing those players step up at crucial times in the game.
So after Auburn went in front 57-54, a run, a steal, and Smith is fouled, and she'll have a chance to add to this run at the free throw line.
It's all about the intensity, and one thing that you'll start seeing and you start watching, even at the free throw line. So the foul gets called, Kiki Smith going to the free throw line. Florida, the players run to the middle to huddle up to talk about whatever's going to happen in the next possession, but it's things like that. It's the little things that keep your team together, that keep your momentum going.
Fouls on Rice, her second personal, 1 of 2 for Smith. Now with 18 points. "12-0 run for the Gators." Rice. Scott Grayson. They have to try to find Thompson here, don't they? Guarded by a freshman.
You're almost waiting for Thompson to turn around and post up. She's down low, setting screens.
So kick ball, they'll put 20 on the shot clock here for Auburn. Yeah, Kiki Smith got the foot out there.
Now, Eric, you just mentioned it. At what point do you look for Thompson? And for Thompson's standpoint, at what point she put herself in a situation to get a post up, get down low, and get the basket?
Alicia Reese gets the roll from the corner. She's got 9, and that ends the Florida run. It was a 12-0 run to put the Gators on top, 66-57. We'll see if in this game of runs, Auburn has one more run in them. Rainey. Not this time. Rebound for Thompson. Levy. First round matchup here at Bon Secours Arena in Greenville. The winner takes on Kentucky tomorrow. Thompson's in trouble. Tough shot.
Yeah, Thompson trying to take on three defenders right there. They're wide open, honestly. Scott Grayson on the side.
Ricards for Rainey. Moore. Guarded by Thompson, has Tonders wide open but couldn't find her. And Levy gets on the floor to tie things up for Auburn and give the Tigers possession.
We've seen a lot of jump balls this game, just the way that players are playing. But look right here, you'll see Unique Thompson trying to get that drive and got a wide open player on the right side. Actually had 2 players that were wide open.
And back to one of the original keys you talked about, Thompson passing out of all that defensive pressure. Last touch by Florida. Auburn's ball with 13 to shoot. 2 minutes to go here in the fourth. Levy checks out of the game. Coulibaly comes back in for Auburn.
You know, if you look at the clock and you look at just the run that have happened, we've seen point swing so quick in this game. That even just looking at between the third and the fourth quarter, between the start for Florida, then Auburn coming back, then Florida coming back. So it's been 2 minutes left in the game, and there's a lot of time left.
Thompson again trying from outside, unable to score, and it was touched by Auburn's Reese as she had her foot out of bounds. The runs in this game in the third quarter, Florida scored the first 13 points of the third quarter. Auburn scored the final 12 points of that quarter. Auburn went on a run in that fourth quarter to take the lead, but Florida answered back with a 12-0 run to put them in front. Is where we are right now. Florida trying to take better care of the basketball, but they turn it over against the Auburn pressure. But Moore comes back defensively to get the block, and another tie-up to Mika. And this will be Florida ball with 1:32 to go.
You know, sometimes it's just interesting what is going through a player's mind as they're making plays. And see Rice right here, you got one player stepped up, you got 2, pull it out. There's nowhere to go. She tried to get the foul call, but get the tie-up.
Ricards dribbles out of trouble across half court, hands it off to Smith. She won't work too much clock. She sees an opening to drive the lane, can't get it, and Thompson's got her 9th rebound. Thompson inside, grabbed it for the rebound and was fouled on her way up after the miss by Rice. So Unique Thompson has a double-double. 58th of her career. Broke Dewana Bonner's school record last year. 16th double-double this year.
Well, with this 58 double-double, it moves her down to she tied for 7th now in the rebounding history for NCAA.
Thompson at the free throw line needs to score at the line to help her teammates out and help herself. The only senior on this Auburn roster.
Well, Eric, this goes to also this would be the first win for Auburn in the SEC this year. They are 0-14 in the regular season and 0-15 in the regular season, excuse me. So this would be the first win.
4-point game, 1 minute to go. Take note of the fouls as well. Auburn has committed just 2 fouls, so if it gets to a point where they need to foul, it's going to take 3 hacks to get the Gators to the free throw line. Christina Moore not waiting around, drives it. She's into double figures with 11, back to a 6-point lead. Now it's got to happen a little bit more quickly than this for Auburn as we approach 30 seconds to go. Coulibaly, offensive foul.
And a great charge right there, but man, Coulibaly just tried to take it to the basket, and you've got to love the fight. You got to love the energy that she goes in with, but just a little bit too hard. She dived, definitely dipped that shoulder in. And
freshman Jordan Merritt takes the charge.
and she's feeling it too.
So there's one of the fouls given by Rice. That's now the 4th team foul after the offensive foul called on Coulibaly. And Rice will now send Kiki Smith, very good free throw shooter, to the line to shoot 2. So Rice now with 4 fouls, Coulibaly with 4 fouls. And Kiki Smith, 1 of 2 from the free throw line here today.
You know, it's been interesting when you look at the free throw lines. In particular, Florida had shot 12 free throws, now 13 free throws, compared to Auburn only getting 8 free throws. And, you know, a lot of it was just driving to the basket, settling for open or settling for outside shots instead of trying to attack the basket more.
Auburn uses the timeout to advance it to half courts with 28 seconds to go here in the 4th quarter. 7-point lead for Florida. The question is there enough time for a comeback here for the Tigers?
Well, I think the biggest thing right now for Auburn, they got to be aggressive. They got to make sure that the ball attack the basket. You don't have time to ride around and drive around. Unique Thompson post up down low, give her the ball, and then dive.
And don't need a 3 yet.
And they don't need a 3 yet.
They don't need a 3 yet.
You got to get baskets. If you keep relying on the 3-pointers right now, you never know what'll happen. Of course you want to take 3s. If you get a wide open 3, Eric, I'm taking a wide open 3.
But if you're coming out of this timeout, what are you drawing up if you're Coach Flo?
I'm driving up something quick, get it to Unique Thompson or honestly Scott Grayson right there.
Well, instead, it's a jumper that's short. Here's Smith. Well, Rice doesn't want to foul. If she fouls, she's going to foul out. She looks to her teammate saying, I don't want to foul out of this game, but Auburn now sitting back, and Florida is going to start to celebrate. In the end, it was the Gators who made the last big run that put them over the top. A wild back and forth game, and that will be it for Unique Thompson. Cam Neubauer, the Florida head coach, comes over to pay tribute, and now Unique's teammates will greet her.
And what a career for Unique Thompson. What a career. the things that she's been able to do. And, you know, Coach Flo is one of her biggest cheerleaders, so we get an earful of all of the great things and just the type of person that she is, both on and off the floor. So senior year, coming out, the performances that she's been able to put up this year, she's just been an unbelievable, she's been a joy to watch for the years that we've been watching her.
Jersey came off one final time just as she left the court here in Greenville as Florida gets the victory 69-62. So the Gators move on to the second round where they'll take on Kentucky